Hello, my sweet loves. I want to take you on a moonlight ride. No. I want to take you on a tour of my grimoire. I want to do this because I, like so many others, are often struck with the fear of acting, right? The fear of putting pen to paper because it won't be beautiful like all the things that we see on Pinterest that are gorgeous and full of hand drawings and look like so pristine with their little title pages. Then it's no. If you can do that, you have a superpower, because I can't. And for so long, I've started and stopped and started and stopped and started and stopped and redid and got a new book. And it's been a mess. I don't know if I have, I don't. They're probably somewhere else. I have them all in here. Like, I have chunks of pages that I've used in other books that are eventually going to come in here because it's been a mess. And I've been like psyching myself out. So this one I've been working on since April, on and off. It's been very, very, very sporadic. But with Samhain coming up and that whole talk about fear of change, I've been really reevaluating and pushing forward on a lot of things. I'll go into that another time. Once I have a little bit more of my stuff set up, then we'll kind of go into a little bit of detail as to what I'm putting into motion instead of just talking about it, thinking about it, hoping about it. I'm just going to do it. Because I also have a great fear of putting myself out there, presenting things that I have done. So this has been, by this I mean YouTube has been a very good thing for me because I feel like I can now feel a little more comfortable showing and expressing and sharing in a different way. So with this, I want to do a grimoire update the last week of every month to keep myself creating and writing and cutting back on that fear of putting pen to paper when we can have a quick session of what we've added to our grimoire. So that's what I'm going to do. I wanted to have this beautiful, fancy, titled book at first. And that, I swear, gave me anxiety. Like, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I tried to structure it and then found myself not wanting to put things in it because I wanted to do it from front to back and having to like go around in different spaces. Just, my brain didn't want to work that way. So I chunked what everyone else said out the window and I started doing my own. And just kind of winging it. And like I said, I've had moments, because I started this in April and it's not that full. I had moments of that fear of putting pen to paper. Like, what if it looks like freaking ridiculous? One of my first pages, I freaking hate it. But it's okay. It's okay because that was what I did that day. It was hasty and it doesn't matter. That's what I was on that day. So it doesn't ruin my book. And that's the mindset that I had to get out. That perfection, that what I wanted to see, what I was capable of doing. And the fact that I am not going to take 4 days, you know, to sit on one page trying to make sure that my writing is perfect and my lines are perfect. And, you know, I'm not going to do that. I really won't. Even when I really want to try. You guys know I have zero patience. I've said this like a bazillion times before. Like, I have trouble letting things be. I do. So I threw caution to the wind and said, there is no title page. If you want something, you will look for it. You will find bookmarks for it. And that's how we're going. So this is just a blank journal. It is leather bound. I don't know. Let me see. I don't think this is real leather. I think this is just, I can't see the other side. I believe this is faux leather. I don't know. But it's blue. You can see I got tape on the side because I did tape something. Again, I decided I was not going to care what this looked like. This was for me and, you know, probably for linen. This was something that was going to stick around for a very long time. So I didn't worry about all that stuff. The more battered and loved it is, the more sacred it obviously is. So I kind of let that be. So what I have thus far, I believe I showed you guys this page, like these 2 pages before, is a watercolor that I did and that I drew. Here we have a quote from Yoko Ono: "You can be wild and still be very wise." And again, I did describe this in another video, I believe. The very first page is the first page of my Harry Potter book, which I took out, chapter 1, The Girl Who Lived, and I created a poem. I'll go ahead and read that again to you guys. Proud to say perfectly normal, except to be strange or mysterious. She spent so much of her time in their opinion, but had a secret and somebody would discover it. So that is my first page. I did some little coloring. I got the little lightning bolt here. So my number 1 favorite thing for a very long time has been my Harry Potter book. So that is the thing that comes into my grimoire. On this page, I do have Louisiana. Where do you come from and where are you going? I drew a little swampy picture here. I drew Louisiana. This is my grandfather. He read cards. So I have him here. He also played the accordion. And that side of the family is where I have inherited a lot of my spiritual gifts and things. Here, I just have a little bit about Louisiana, just something that I wrote here, which is just Louisiana is haunted. If anyone tells you any different, they're lying. All you have to do is slow down and listen. You can hear its story in the wind, and feel it in the air. It's the water, the trees, the very ground we walk on, houses and graveyards, streets and woods. Everything has its past here. The whole of my family comes from this soggy land, and you can believe they all have their stories, their secrets, and their own magic. So just a little something that I wrote to open it up. This is the Acadian flag for my region of Louisiana. And here is a song that I learned in French from my grandmother when I was 3 years old. She taught me. It's called J'ai passé devant ta porte, which is I walked past your door. It's the saddest song you will ever hear. It's so sad. But it was something that I learned as a kid and I'll never forget it. It even ends with Mon cœur fait mal, which is my heart, it aches. It's so sad. It's so sad, y'all. But I will link it below so you guys can hear it in French. And when you click it, it will, click the description. It will tell you what it's saying. But that is the first song I learned in French from my grandmother. This is one of the pages that I absolutely hate, but it's okay. I had a weird dream about a snake, some cobras. So I did this. I just don't like, sometimes my handwriting really bugs me. But I have my dreams in here and then some interpretations as to the cobra, the coloring, and just what I've interpreted it to be. I use acrylics as well. Here I have a time warp page is just about an experience that I had. So I like to do experiences, dreams, anything I kind of get this strong feelings about. And then these 2 pages, like this is a quick sketch of 2 of my cards that I have. The Sacred Tree Oracle or something like that. And a bit of a reading here. This is what I did on Beltane this year, what me and Lennon did, as well as over it is a Beltane spread. I got a bit of deja vu one day, and then of course we have the hair magic here. So I have a pocket that has some information on the hair as a spirit animal. So I have these little pockets in here. And then here I have a hair charm. So if I have anything about the hair that needs to go in here, I will usually put it here. I did a spread of the Zodiac. So I have kind of some basics of each sign, as well as my natal chart here for myself. I have a little smudging prayer. I also have my rituals in here. So if I do a ritual, I will plop it in here. I do a sea salt ritual on the first Friday of every month. I salt my doorstep, like my doorsteps, my actual steps, anywhere coming into my house. I sprinkle with natural sea salt and say an incantation to protect and bring in abundance and all kinds of stuff. So I have that here. This was done out of construction paper. Let me turn it so you can see. This is done out of construction paper. Old school. I was like, you know what I haven't done in like forever? Tear out pieces of construction paper and make something. And Lennon had some and I was like, I'm doing this. And so I made the salt container and then I just wrote on top of it. And then did a little bit of watercolor at the bottom to make it look like there's stuff there. I have another of my dreams here. And then at the bottom I started something else. Oh, this is something that I heard something on TV and it brought back some memories. So I wrote it all slanted. Because I felt like it, right? This is not beautiful in any way, shape, or form, nor are these little sketches that I did. But I don't care. Like, that was the whole point, you know? So dream here, like a flash here, which made me remember something. And then this is a little bit about my grandma and grandpa. This is a picture from their wedding day. And my mama is still alive. She's all I have left, and she's really sick right now. Makes me sad. I'm sorry, you guys. Little emotional today. Sorry. Anyway, this is my grandpa. Now my mom was adopted. This is my mom's parents. This is my dad's. This is my dad's dad. These are my mom's parents. And I spent my whole childhood with these grandparents. My grandfather passed away in 2004. And all I have left is my mama. My granny and my granny and my grandfather here both passed away in 2004 in July and in December. So that left me with my mama and my pop. And my pop passed away. I have him on my thing. I might have it in here. In 2015. So, that's all I have left. But it's just a little thought about that. And moving back to Louisiana. This we have seen throughout YouTube. This is a tarot spread, the Wheel of Life. I did my wheel and then did the spread, which is really awesome. I'll find someone and link a video showing this spread. Whoever I can find first. And then, let's see, that went on to that page. It went on to this little thing, so I just put this. I didn't want to start a whole nother page because I was almost done. So I put this here and I kind of taped it in. So then on this side, I just have a quick sketch. And then this, you can see it's entitled Nostalgia. I passed by this piece of concrete on the side of a road in this little town that I live in. This thing has been on the side of the road for my whole life, as long as I can remember. And I passed by it the other day, and I swear to you, it looks the same. The grass has not grown any higher. You can still see it perfectly. It looks like a chimney. It's got a hole here. And it just flooded back with all kinds of memories, and I jotted those things down. There's also a windmill on a road that you turn going towards my grandparents' house, coincidentally. And it was beautiful and pristine and worked just fine when I was young. But now looking at it, there are pieces missing. There's vines all up the side. And I just got me thinking about the contrast of how some things feel like they never change, and other things feel like there is, there's nothing but change. So that was this one. Sorry, mom stuff, y'all. And then I have a doodle page. It's just a hot mess of all kinds of stuff. Things that I created out of what was there. I literally just wrote doodle page to test out the things that I'm doing. I did some string art, me and Lennon, just to mess around, because I was like, there has to be a page for me to test out pins and do some crazy stuff and put a little bit of magic behind it to this to go on top. So yeah, doodle page. Then I found a body scan in a book, A Guide to Body Wisdom, and went through like each portion of my body. How do things feel? I have a spell, a mirror spell here. So again, this is just a mishmash of whatever I feel like it. You can tell there is no rhyme or reason. It's just whatever I feel like it. This is just a terrible looking page of the Wheel of the Year. I was bored and I was like, I hate it. Well, I started on one side and I tried to do it and it didn't come out good. So this is what it turned into, but I don't care. I don't care. It's staying in here. It's fine. So, again, it's just learning how to let that go. I can still find the beauty and the whole idea that I was going for in it and be fine with that. And then if I feel it necessary, I can come over with whatever I want. This is a pasted page, so I can come in and do whatever I want. But I probably won't, because I need to learn that some things are not what you want them to be, and that is okay. Full of lessons, this book. Here we have a bunch of stuff about days of the week for spells, a little sketch, candle stuff, along with my own little notes on the side that come, you know, aside from the stuff that I have printed out, my little notes, flames and things like that. I have my lunar cycle, starting with the new moon up here, and then my phases, and just a little watercolor sketch that I did. This is a quote from a book that I read. Didn't really like the book, if I'm being honest. I love historical fiction. So I found a book called Marrying Mozart. Marrying Mozart. Reset. So it's by Stephanie Cowell, and there was a quote in the book that made the entire book worth reading. I really didn't care for the whole thing, but I read it. I feel like I was led to this book just for this quote. And I'm a huge fan of Mozart, kind of fiction. I love Amadeus. It's one of my top movies of all time. Of all time. I know that sounds random, but it totally is. So that's what led me to see it, and then I picked it up. Anyway, long story short, the quote says, "And don't think you have no beauty. You do have it, but you're still afraid to look at it because it's not the kind you want." And I thought that that was incredibly profound, because we do that on the daily. We are so quick to dismiss our beauty, or to say that we have none, or we'll never have this, or we'll never have that, that we forget to look in the mirror. And when we do, we refuse to see it because it's not the kind we want. So this quote made the whole book for me. So I saved you from reading it. You got the best part. It's not that terrible of a book. But with this, you'll see here, this was a spell that I did, a knotted spell, that I did in the form of an anklet, with specific colors, and I had it on until it fell off. And when it broke, I realized that some of the things that I put into it didn't work, or I didn't feel it because of the intention. And this quote helped me open my eyes to some of those things. And so I wrote about it. I wrote about this, and how I felt that it kind of encompassed that. And you can see my my lettering. I also love to do lettering. I'm not super good at it, but I just enjoy it. So I have my lettering in there too. This was just a bit of writing and some little doodles that I did. And then I have some deck interview spreads that I have here. The little peephole, or just a little sketch that I did. Because I messed up right there, and so I cut it out. And I made it a decorative little picture. Ta-da! Now, because my little owl that I drew went on through to the other side, I created a little page for owls. Like what owls, the meanings, and to call the owl, things like that. So another spirit animal page. This I found somewhere and printed it out. It's a nice little new moon spread, so I just literally put it in there. On the back is my Saturn direct spread that I created. You may recognize this page. My energy spell, kind of all the things that I did, what was on my altar at the time. And then my last finished pages are these. This is my altar water recipe that I used to do my full cleanse on the equinox. I think I mentioned it when I showed my altar. This is my altar water, as well as the incantation, what's in it, things like that. And then a Mabon spread. This was by the curious cards thing, or I kind of note things just in case I want to go back, because sometimes I change or alter spreads a little bit. So yeah, and this one is really cool. I really like this spread. So that's it for my finished pages. And then, because I don't always have the time to stop and put stuff in right away, I will shove lots of stuff inside that I have to go back and put in, write about, or redo. Which most I won't redo. I usually like to keep, especially when it comes to like this. This is a banishing spell that I did with an egg. FYI, I never do banishing spells on people or like that kind of situation. Anyway, we'll go into that later. Anyway, this was a really cool one that I did with an egg. It was pretty awesome. Anyway, so this will probably be taped inside like I did with some of my other pages. Because it was done at the time, it's getting to that time. I just can't speak anymore. So those will get taped in because that was in the moment. Ancestors is my grandfather again. My pop. I think I have one in here. Oh yes. Have a picture of my granny and pop in here, tucked away. This is before she passed away. You can see her like oxygen on there, and it was sad. I keep this because I was given this from my pop, so I always keep it. Even though it really pains me because I can, when I see that oxygen tank, I can just hear those breaths. But it's okay because like I feel her very strongly, and she's drinking coffee. I love it. Anyway, what else do I have in here? I don't have too much more. Oh, I have a picture entitled Thoughts from a friend of mine from when I was a teenager from New York. It's some railroad tracks that you can't really see. It's just really dark, but it was beautiful, and I've had it since I was about 15 years old. So I put that in there. Down dog yoga sticker that got shoved in there. This is my grandma. And Lennon, when she was born, they share their birth date, October 13th. So that's my momo. Sweet, sweet Vern. Her name is Verna. Let's see. I have a little printout that I haven't decided what I wanted to do with it yet. But it was just a cool little poem. Close your eyes and sink deep, deep inside the core of yourself. Understand not just who you are, but who you have the potential to become. A witch doesn't believe in magic. A witch becomes part of the magic. So it's just a cool little thing. And then these are notes from a mediumship reading that I got. Just notes. I got a mediumship reading online, and I was hoping for my grandfather to come through, even though I knew he wouldn't. I'll go into that story later. It's a bit of a longer story. But someone else came through. And I just kind of listened. I'm like, okay, well, I recognize this maybe, but just continue to tell me. I'm going to write notes. So I wrote notes, and I sat with it. And I started to realize that it was not my grandfather, but Jacob's grandfather that had come through. And when I realized that, I went to Jacob and I was like, I'm going to tell you these things tell me if you recognize it. And as soon as I started, he was like, that's my grandpa. And so I went through, and he was astonished, and he was like, you have to go tell my mom. You have to go and talk to her. So I did, and she basically confirmed everything, and then got the messages that she needed to hear, because there was some in here that were specifically for her. And so while I did not connect, and I knew I wouldn't. I knew, like, I had it in mind, but I was really open. I was like, it could be any one of, like, my other grandparents. Now, my pop had not passed away yet, so I was like, it might be I really want it for my grandpa, but I really don't think so. But I'm like, maybe my granny, maybe a few of the other people that I had lost or known. I had an open mind, but I did not expect him to come through. And I was kind of thrown because I did tell her my grandpa's name, which was John. And just a different John came through because Jacob's grandfather's name was Johnny. So, yeah. So that's that. So I can always remember that. And then I just have random papers. So that's it. So, my grimoire, the hot mess that it is, that's what I have so far. And a few thoughts. I know a lot of people talk a good game about how you should never print stuff out. You should always write it in there because it's about being you and this, that, and the other. If you're going to draw things, make sure you do that. Don't print it out. I don't hold true to any of that stuff. I feel like if you want something in there, you put it in there. If it's pictures, if it's stuff that you find online and you print out and you want to paste inside, if you want to paint on it, if you want to rub mud all over it, if you want to, like, I just feel like it doesn't have to be so strict as some people make it out to be. Just because you have printed pages, just because you don't draw every single thing, just because you don't write everything on the physical paper, maybe you type it and print it out. Like, so many people make it seem like if it's not done their way, then it's just not good enough, you know? And I just don't hold true to that. So I wanted to show you the mess that I have, because you don't see that much on YouTube or anywhere else for that matter. To me, there are no restrictions. This is for you, by you, so do it whatever you want. If you want to print out every single page and just bind it together and use it, it's still yours, you know? I don't know. I just feel like so many people put so much weight on their way being the right way that it dissuades so many from just starting something. So I hope you enjoyed my mess of a grimoire. If you guys have any ideas as to, you know, what to put next, things that you put in your grimoire, what does yours look like? Please do a VR. I would love to see everybody's stuff. If you're just starting, please show me what you got. I don't care if it's a page, if it's 2 pages. If you don't want to do a VR, message me. I'll put my links and stuff below. Message me on Instagram. You know, I want to see what you guys are doing. I want to do this with you. So like I said, at the last week of every month, I'm going to come on and show what else I have added to my grimoire. And if there's anything that you want to see or know more about that is in my grimoire, I know I don't have many spells. I have a couple of spells in here. Most of my things, I'm willing to share my process. So ask. I'll be more than happy to share with you guys. And more spells spells and rituals and stuff are going in. I have quite a few things that that I do need to put in. These are a bunch of spells and my personal spells that I've created, as well as blends and all kinds of good stuff. So all of that is coming to my grimoire. And like I said, if there's anything that you want to know, if there's stuff that you want to see, please let me know. So anyway, thank you for watching. I'll be back very soon. We will do some readings or a spread or something. We'll get the cards out and have some fun. And I just wanted to share that with you. I hope that you enjoyed. And yeah, much love, guys. Bye.